All right, and welcome back, everybody. We are going to be going into the third game of the MCS Mobafire Challenger Series, brought to you by Power, Fatality, and Razor Academy. And I am EGO to your feet, and joining me is Rapid Casting. Hello? Rapid?
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3. Getting things done here at the Mobafire Challenger Series, MCS Week 1, Day 2. Got the next matchup for you, Team Tower Dive going up against Wazabi Gaming.
Yep, and Team Tower Dive showed us a very strong performance yesterday as they did take down their opponent in a 1-0 in a very dominant fashion, and they're unfortunately using the tags of Sugoi as they were a team before this one, but they will get that fixed up for them. And who's on the other side? We know these familiar names of Zampfire and Captain Ziploc and iDream.
Yeah, iDream definitely been around. Nothing here has been around for basically forever. It's on like the very first Absolute Legends North America lineup, if I recall correctly. Kind of rounded things out with Profit, the support player for Underrated Gaming. That was a Zinkies team for a while. And like you mentioned, Captain Ziploc. Everybody just getting into the lobby here, getting ready to get the game started. Like you mentioned, these teams have both played before in the tournament, both winners. So it's 1-0 Tower Dive versus 1-0 Wazabi. Wazabi taking out Tempest Gaming, which is the old Pulse Esports roster, and then Team Tower Dive taking out Gold Gaming Los Angeles. So I gotta say some pretty good results so far, but it's the battle of the undefeated teams, I suppose. We're gonna get things into underway. Just waiting on Pekingese, the player for Sugoi Boys. That's the previous name for Team Tower Dive. So we're going to wait to get everybody into the lobby, but I got to say, very, very excited to get this game underway. Wazabi Esports, I mean, they probably have a few fans out there. They're definitely one of the most popular teams we have in the tournament. Cannot wait to see a pretty stacked lineup go up against Tower Dive.
Yeah, but Tower Dive has shown some pretty strong performance before, and I'm interested to see if Zampfire is going to bring out the Lulu mid, which would be pretty funny, and if it's not being out against them, that'd be quite troublesome for Tower Dive TV.
Yeah, this is going to get a little bit rough to deal with if it goes for Lulu. I mean, I'd love to see that, but we'll see what we got going on.
And we are into the picks and bans now, so finally going to get underway with this game of Tower Dive TV versus Wasabi Gaming. Wasabi is going to be blue, Tower Dive TV is going to be red, and we're going to see Rengar getting banned out first, as well as Elise. So fairly strong bans. Rengar getting banned a little bit more often now after seeing some strong play of it from Westeros.
Yeah, Westeros' Rengar, I mean, really when you watched his games over at MLG, it's just like picking Rengar, it's actually banned against him before he picked it. Then he grabbed it away, crushed through the game, went incredibly positive, and taken out right off the bat. Rengar, Jayce, probably will see both a Nunu and a Draven ban, because if you don't see either one of those guys banned, they're going to be first picked.
Yeah, and that's going to be really hard for any laner to deal with, as there we go, that should be lined up enough. And yeah, so we're going to see if Sugoi does end up banning out that Lulu. They banned Draven next, so there still is that last pick, because if Zampfire gets Lulu, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go nuts, because it is one of the best and funniest things to see in the mid lane, especially when you get some AP on that one. His Glitter Lance is poking really hard, gets a big shield, and has a nice giant growth. But what could you expect for the last ban for Wasabi?
Somebody's got to ban Nunu. It's kind of a game of chicken right now, and currently, I mean, Wasabi's ahead because they have first pick. They can grab that away if they want. It's just stupid. He gets way too tanky. He can steal every single buff all the time, forever and always. They still haven't nerfed his consume that's coming in the next patch later on tonight. I'm actually really excited for that, but we'll have to wait until that happens. Twisted Fate banned out. Means it's up to the Sugoi Boys, Tower Dive TV. Are they going to ban out the Nunu, or are they going to let it through?
Maybe. Nunu is really strong in the 3.8 jungle right now, being able to completely dominate that with the 1,000 damage true damage consume on any minion, which is getting nerfed next patch to 500. Ooh, they banned Nunu. Uh-oh. Lulu's open. They get onto it. Come on, Wasabi.
I don't know. We could see it as the first pick, but the Nunu ban, everybody kind of saw it coming. There's just, there's certain champions you have to ban. It's basically Draven, Nunu, Jayce, there's sort of the big trifecta. A Trendamere? I don't know, man. I mean, we've seen it before. Wasabi, they do have that in their pocket. They can run that sub, but gonna look for probably a top laner to start things off.
Yeah, Aatrox is really strong. I haven't seen much of him in competitive play. Oh, no, right. They're just flicking through champions right now. We're not sure what they're gonna pick just yet, as they are just messing with us just a little bit right now. Skarner, I saw that in the ULCS. I've seen no Sivir play. That's not gonna happen. Nobody plays Sivir anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, but either way, probably something to watch out for, at least right now, is that when we get through when we get through the picks and bans, we're gonna have switching around of champions. We've already seen that been pretty cool. Looks like yeah, getting the summoner blocks a little bit realigned, but going into the first couple picks for Tower Dive, they actually run some pretty interesting compositions, and they are one of the only teams here in this tournament that go for crazy early pushing, extremely early on, utilizing things like 3-minute turrets from early 2v1s. But as is, hovering over Kha'Zix, the first pick there, like you see on your screen, is going to be Zach. So, I mean, that's locked in. It's not going to change.
That's not going to change.
Dude, I mean, we may possibly be needing to raise our dongers over here. Gonna get taken away there, so looks like Thresh a little bit more of a viable.
Yeah, very strong pick. And we've seen Jarvan almost every game today as he does get locked in. So that's going to be Jarvan jungle and most likely Thresh support. And most likely Jarvan jungle could be top, could be mid. I've seen a lot of people take him everywhere. As Zamfire is hovering over that Lulu, everybody should pray that he just ends up locking that one in, because this is something phenomenal to see him play. And let's see, they could also pick up their support on top of that to not give away their AD carry or their top or jungle. Zach could still be going top, Zach could go mid, who knows? Everybody plays everything at this point.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous. Zamfira grabbing out the Lysandra. I love that. I expect them to lock that in, because it actually combos very, very well with their sort of hard style engage. And if you like that kind of music, then it's doubly pretty cool. I think when you're looking for the next couple of picks, you're gonna see a lot of lockdown here. You really can combo that pretty well. There's the Lulu. Zamfira, please. I mean,
raise your Lulus? Raise your Pixes? I don't know.
I mean, there's as long as you can lift, you can raise things, and you can do whatever you want. Locked in.
Yes.
Zamfira, the manly man that he is, taking down Lulu, probably still will be support, but you never know. Wazabi Gaming, they love to please the crowd, and that's always an option. Could actually run that AP mid.
Yep, so if he doesn't run an AP mid, it's a solid support with Graves. It's going to be a really strong lineup for that bot lane. They have a lot of shot potential, Glitter Lance, and Puck Shot. But on the side of Team Tower Dive, we do have Renekton and Oriana getting locked in instantly, so they have a solid lineup of cash potential. They have that shockwave from Oriana, they have the stun coming out from that slice and dice on Renekton, they have Thresh Lantern, they have Thresh Flay, they have his Death Sentence, they have the box, and they have Cataclysm to synergize with that as well to keep everybody grouped up. So a super solid lineup coming out from the side of Tower Dive TV. And then we're going to wait for what Wasabi will pick up next. They could need a mid, they could need a support. They might need a top. I don't know, everything could go everywhere, just like I said before, so we'll see what Ziploc and Nothing here are going to lock in for their team at this point. Looks like they're just debating just a little bit. Zed, really strong. We saw Nick Wu play a super strong Zed that last game in FXO versus Complexity, and just completely dominating with those death marks, one-shotting whoever he could get his little hands on. And then it looks like they're going to pick, they have 2 seconds. Oh, never mind, going to pick Janna, going to swap that one out. Ziploc, going to pick Zed. Okay.
Locking it, and Zamfira going for the Lulu. It's either going to be Lulu AP mid or a Janna AP mid. Either way, I'm going to be happy. I remember back in the days when Dignitas was one of the first teams to say, what if we just run triple support, all the heals, all the time, crushing through teams. I think it was like IPL 4 that Scar ran AP Soraka in the mid lane. Everybody just like shed collective tears of sadness that was actually viable in tournaments. And then you see AP Master Yi come out, and you're like, well, solo queue has come to the professional scene. Rounding things out here with the last pick coming out for TDTV. We'll see what they can grab out there. Probably looking for an AD carry, and they're going to be locking things in for a pretty strong engage control kind of team comp with a ton of AoE.
Yeah, and they could run out AD Oriana, you never know, throw us for a loop again, why not? But Misfortune synergizes with this lineup perfectly. Cataclysm, the box, you have Shockwave coming out from Oriana. When she throws out that bullet time, it'll shred through everybody on top of all the damage his team is going to provide for him. But on the side of Wasabi Gaming, they have really good initiation, they have counter engage, and they have disengage. They have the Monsoon, they have the less bounce and slingshot to engage. They have Zed to come in and one-shot anybody that he can try to get his hands on, like Oriana or Misfortune. And then they have Graves, who is one of the fairly tankier AD carries with that passive giving extra armor and magic resist. So we'll see what they can do with this one, especially Lulu. She has that giant growth as well as the pick shield and the glitter lance and the whimsy to CC. So really solid lineups coming out from both teams. Who would you give a little bit of an advantage to?
Right now, we were talking about it a little bit early on, and if you guys can vote in the straw poll, Wasabi Gaming getting by far some favorite votes, and I gotta say, The AP Lulu. If you guys don't know about this is not troll. Zamfira. Lulu is his most played champion. He's a great mid laner and he plays a great AP Lulu. If you guys haven't seen this before, everybody sort of has their champion. Like, Westrice has his Akali, Phantom Lord has his Karthus, maybe his Ziggs. Well, Zamfira has AP Lulu. And if you guys doubt, don't worry. Sit tight. You're about to get shown exactly how to play AP Lulu mid. The rest of the team, it's going to be kind of interesting because when you have a Janna, you're looking for some push and disengage, but it's going to be interesting to see how this sort of hodgepodge of champions come together around Wazabi Gaming. If you look over to TDTV, it's a little bit more of an obvious composition.
Yeah, it's a really standard Season 2-ish kind of composition where Misfortune is going to be sitting in the back, throwing up that bolt time with the huge range that it does have. But I think the crucial player is going to be Prophet for this one because he's going to have so much to disengage from. He's going to have to disengage Thresh if he gets in with a Death Sentence. He's going to have to disengage the Cataclysm, can try to get away from Oriana as well when he throws out that Monsoon. And the counter action to Shockwave, excuse me. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how well iDream can do as well as in that top lane against Renekton because Renekton really isn't that easy to kill.
Yeah, the only problem is that when you run Renekton against the Lulu, you start to shed tears of sadness because Lulu just completely destroys that champion. So we might see some early lane swaps. We started to see more solo lanes versus concrete tops and mids. So we'll see how the lanes work out as we get into the game. But it's nearing the 1 minute 30-second mark, so we're going to run a few commercials. Don't worry, stay with us. We'll be right back with game number 3 of today's MCS. It's going to be Wazabi Gaming going up against TDTV.
Whoops. Alright, welcome back everybody. We're going to be heading into the loading screen of Week 1 game number 3, Team Tower Dive versus Wasabi Gaming. Really great match going to be coming up for you guys as we head into the screen.
Alright, going into the game, I'm going to get things loaded in. I'm actually going to have a few issues, but we are underway. It's going to be Wasabi Gaming. Your team in the blue is going to be Zed, Lulu, Janna, Zach, Graves, being played by iDream, Zamfira in the mid lane, Prophet on support, Ziploc in the jungle, and then Nothing here playing his Graves. But they're going up against TDTV, a team that is also undefeated here in the MCS. Who are we looking at today?
We're going to be looking at Sugoi Glorified. It's going to be TDTV. I should not say the Sugoi. It's not their official sponsor anymore. So we're going to have Andro-chan. We're going to have Geek Desu running that Renekton in the top. We're going to have Junkie going to be playing Misfortune with his support of Andro-chan. Then we're going to have Pengsky in that mid lane with Oriana. And then the strong Jarvan going to be Glorified.
All right, I gotta say, a Glorified, very storied player, as well as Junkie. I'm really loving this lineup. Haven't seen him play as their old team, but as TDTV, definitely making waves here in this tournament. Like I mentioned, both undefeated teams going up against one another head-to-head. Game 3, Day 2, Week number 1 here of the Mobafire Challenger Series. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. A couple of great games already, and if those are any reflection of the games coming up here tonight, we are in for a treat.
Yeah, it looks like Andro-chan is stuck at 0% on my screen. Is he on yours?
Yeah, he is having that 0% bug. I'm like, you know what? I mean, 0 is a cool number and everything, but probably should move that up to the 100%. And there we go. Andrew Chan finally starting up the load.
Maybe just a little bit of a lag going on there, but it's gonna be loading in real quick, and we'll get to this game fairly soon. I wonder if there's gonna be any aggressive invades. We haven't really seen any of those as of lately.
All right, well, really, we've seen a lot more passive play. I mean, we're looking for complexity. They actually are one of the only teams that go consistently for those invades, at least, you know, traditionally. This time around, it's Wazabi Gaming. These guys are crazy. I've like talked to each one of them. I'm like, okay, well, why do you do what you do? And their answer is because it works, and working on their team coordination, it's actually starting to get some devastating levels. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they work out against a much more team fight AOE sort of lock-up composition here from the guys from TDTV. We're going to get things loaded in there. Anjo finally getting everything. In case you guys are wondering, I am Anjo, former LCS support, so definitely been around the scene himself. Going up against, I almost said Zamfira, he's playing Lulu, but that's going to be an AP Lulu mid.
Yeah, and that's going to be really strong as we are finally loaded into this game, and we will be getting on with it as the pause does come out. So, gonna throw that on there. And I don't know, maybe someone just lagged in. Could possibly be Andrew Chan with how he did end up just having that little bit of delay coming in to this game.
So apparently, yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a pause break, but in case you guys are just now joining us, let's give you some time to get into the action. If you didn't catch the first games for today, this is going to, you definitely missed out. So make sure to check out the VODs after the broadcast, or also go head up MCS Esports on YouTube, where all the videos will be loaded up. And in case you can't find either one of those, you can also hit up the /r LOL VODs, or LOL event VODs subreddit, where all the videos can be watched easily, simply, and we are back into the game.
Yep, and now we have everybody buying their items up and going to be heading towards their lane. And I want to kind of highlight over Zamfira, who is going for that, the vial, not the vial, I keep forgetting its name, the crystalline flask, excuse me, as he will be able to sustain in that lane. He went for some health potions and mana potions on top of that, so he's going to have an immense amount of poke potential as well as survivability in that. I'm going to jump to live real quick so we can get underway with that. There we go. Nothing missed from that, and yeah, everybody going to be posturing defensively as they want to protect this red for Captain Ziploc.
So no, not even any aggressive wards. Both teams just kind of chilling out, hanging in their own jungles.
Look at TDTV right now. The group thinking about that pop push. That was the bush that Velocity Gaming always made their debut on when they would get for First Bloods in the MLG Rising Star stuff. So we'll see if TDTV can convert this into anything, as they might try to invade on this red buff fairly early.
They're looking for a bottom lane invade. The Tri-Brush, they're going to have to pink ward that because there should be a ward in there. So, I mean, otherwise they risk their entire invade. No wards, though, so they are completely free and clear. It's going to be going behind enemy lines, looking for this invade.
Oh, God. If they do end up going away with this, will be pretty sick. They actually are pinging to go in right now. Nothing here actually might spot them out. Oh, they're going to go in very sneakily. Oh, Prophet actually going to spot them out right there. There's the Destiny's going to connect on the Prophet. They're going to try to get this first blood. Prophet is going to get ignited and taken down by the top laner. That is Geek Desu. Good job by Team Tower TV to go in there. And unfortunately, no wards from the side of Wasabi right there. And I'm going to flip the icons around because I accidentally put them in the wrong spots.
All right, well, Geek gone mad. It's going to be Geek Desu going back up to the top lane, picks himself up. Oh yeah, there we go. It's like he waited for the last possible seconds to buy. He's gonna have those boots, and this is gonna be the opportunity for both teams to sort of like set up for their lane matchups. As is, we actually are gonna see things completely normally, so no team's opting to go for any sort of counter picks. Just gonna go right back into lane. Buffs being taken away there, both starting in the lower half of the map, and this is just so that you can pick up your buffs, go to your second buff, hit level 3, and then gank top lane. So we'll see that around the 3.5 minute mark. Going into this bottom lane, Jungi and Shan are going to be versing nothing here, and his support Prophet. Very, very good bottom lane. Definitely going to keep an eye on this because something tells me there's going to be a little bit of action here with that first blood in the top lane. Could see some advantages being pressed up there.
Yeah, with that Death Sentence and Flay combination, it's going to be pretty deadly for a Janna Graves, but they have the response with the shield coming out from Janna, as well as the tankiness on the Graves passive. And yeah, nothing going to go on just yet here, so let's look up the top lane with that first blood that did fall onto Renekton, who did pick up a cloth armor in that one. And everything's going to be just a little bit calm. All the junglers do end up getting their buffs.
Yeah, actually thinking about the boots, and then was able to walk there into lane. Glorified, not going to walk over wards, so just waiting for iDream to come back up to CS a minion or two. The only problem is that iDream's not going to want to fight a guy who just got first blood, so he's going to be playing passively, which may take a little bit longer for the gang to go down.
Yeah,
nothing here, going to get flayed backwards.
Yeah, then they do end up forcing Jungie to sit back passively. The shields from Janna are quite efficient, as well as the tornado to help disengage. But it looks like up in top lane we have Jungie being very patient, but does get spotted out and will be forced to go roam somewhere else to try to pick up a first blood. Not a first blood, a second blood for his team, as he does look to roam mid, but will be spotted out by that ward.
Already we're seeing some domination from Zamfir in the mid lane. He does have 25 AP. He's pushing down that mid lane, actually able to shove Pekingese to turret, keeping his CS up at the same time. Currently 18-17, so it's dead even across the board. As is both junglers just doing the kind of jungle thing. They're going to walk into the mid lane ziplock looking for a long range gank. He's kind of sitting in the wings knowing that Jarvan's somewhere nearby.
Yeah, and level 2 slingshot, not the best of ranges early on, but still good enough to go into the middle of that lane from the right side minions, excuse me. But we're going to look at bot lane right now as they are just farming up back and forth. Graves leading with a nice little 6-ish CS lead. He's going to be diminishing a little bit from the tower as the MF can last hit fairly efficiently under tower.
Alright, so when you're looking at sort of the starting lane matchups, not going to see any jungle pressure for a while. Just this is the definition of laning phase. Sitting there, CSing creeps. The first blood not actually made all that evident, but you can see a little bit of pressure up there into the top lane. iDream just getting chunked down to half HP.
Yeah, look at Glorified right now. He's being very sneaky. They placed that pink ward in the bush. They let him come in. He's very sly right now. The Descent is not going to connect. Glorified's not going to go in on that, as they are playing it very patiently. Glorified not giving away that he's there. We're not going to be over aggressive just yet, as till nothing here might get into a bad spot. The shield coming in from Janna. Maybe when that's down, they might try to engage on this.
I'm not really sure if they're going to go in anytime soon. Probably the big deal is the overextension. Prophet not going to do that. Stand very back, very safe. Nothing here. Just going to be content to CS for now because they know there is no vision of that brush or being placed in the other brush, just looking for an engaged opportunity.
Yep, and while he is being very patient, we have Zach actually making his way around. They ping that the ward was gone. They ping for him to go in. Ziplock might actually be able to get the gank that Jarvan wanted. Maybe gonna parse up that slingshot. Oh, but a really passive play coming out from Team Tower at FTV, sniffing that one out, and really good job by them.
Alright, so all that time kind of wasted. Jarvan's going to have to back out. He's going to go to his own wolf camp. Captain Ziplock just going to go back and pick up his first buy of the game. Is still going to need that Spirit Stone, going just straight for that, walks back on out. But as his, we saw that first blood, we were talking about the effect it was going to have. Geek on Matt actually pressuring iDream way underneath his turret. You're going to start to see that's a little bit more pronounced. There's already about a 10 CS advantage.
Yeah, and that's going to be really hard for him to deal with if Renekton does end up getting that Sunfire Cave. Gets tanky, gets Random's Omens, whatever he needs to pick up to counteract this Zed. And yeah, keeping that pressure is what you need to do to deny as much CS from underneath the turret and keep him back. And now that he's level 6, both of them are level 6, excuse me, and they have that dominance and the death mark. So we'll see how well the junglers can make this play, or maybe a 1v1 will happen.
Yeah, the biggest thing to watch out for is going to be the jungler pressure. It hasn't really amounted to anything so far, but as soon as it starts to get things snowballing, we all know how quickly they get out of control. Zamfir coming back to the mid lane, his AP Lulu getting underway, goes for magic penetration boots, so in the Stork Shoes underway, going to help him out against the Chalice of Harmony, now picked up there for Oriana.
Yep, and we're going to have Desu still pressuring iDream right down there. We're going to hop on down to the bot lane with Jungie and Chan. A lot of mana being spent by Jungie. He's trying to get as much CS as possible, so he's using those level ups quite efficiently to try to catch back up. He's only 3 CS behind now, so did a good job of catching it from the 8 deficit that he had before, and you see nothing here. Pressuring down, throwing the castle, buckshot, everything. There is the Lancer. Going to try to scout out that bush, make sure no one is going to be sneaky and try to gank them out. And yeah, so not really too much going down just yet.
Yeah, all in all, I gotta say, it's really gonna be about this jungle Zach. I hope Medius is taking notes, because this is definitely how you get the job done. Looking to get this blue buff taken away. Is dropping down pretty low, but he's in the area. Is he gonna be able to
he got it! Oh man, that slingshot was great. He went in, hit it, got the smite on top of that one, takes the blue buff away from Oriana in the mid lane. Pekingese needed that one for the lane, but now gets denied, and a really good job by Captain Ziplock to pick that one up for himself. And steal it away, excuse me.
All right, so yeah, he's going to be able to grab that out. I think it's actually Pekingese. So it's going to be the middle lane matchup. Zamfira just crushing through that. Oriana cannot outpush this Lulu.
Yeah, and she's just spamming those glitter lances away and just forcing her back underneath turret. And you can see that taking effect as he's 3 stacks ahead and doing a good job with that one. And he went back and picked up Sork boots as well. So he's dealing out a lot of damage, going to penetrate through the magic resist of Oriana and try to put down as much harass as possible with that, as he's going to get a blue buff now. So he's going to be pretty content in that mid lane, spam away.
Get things in to the into the bank, money in there as well as possibly some ease at accomplishing other tasks. The bottom lane going to be shoved out there by Jungie, just throwing down the ultimate and then backing on off. So overall, we've seen pretty much just pushing, and top lane looks like Ziploc going in.
Yep, there's a death mark, there's a let's bounce as well. Geek Desu is going to get the slice and dice to get away, and I don't think they can chase on this one. Ziploc having that double buff is still not enough. Geek Desu is going to have that dominance popped, and will be able to walk right out of that one, being as tanky as Renekton is. So really good play for him to keep alive, and a good play from Captain Ziploc to try to pressure him away from top, but he's going to run into Glorified right now, as he does have that red buff. He's going to use the slingshot to get away, gets tagged by an auto attack, and does have that slow from the red buff applied, as they might try to go in. There's a knockdown on the Ziploc right now. There's an ignite as well. He does have that division passive active, and it doesn't look like iDream is going to help him out. He's going to end up being taken down, and double buff is going to be passed on to Geek Desu. So really good play by Glorified, and little lags coming out from the Zac passive in that one, but really good play overall from Team Tower Dive.
And right off the bat, turning that gank completely around. 2 kills go the way of TDTV. And if you remember their last game, this is exactly the way it went. Oh, the Oriana ultimate pulls Zamfira mid. It is Glorified coming in.
Yeah, Flash to deny that Cataclysm. There's a knockup as well. There's the dissonance, and there's the Giant's growth coming out from Zamfire. Auto attacks possibly going to take him down. Yes, and Peggy, I'm going to have such a trouble. I'm just going to call him Pecky. Pecky is going to be able to pick up that blue buff because I cannot say his name for some reason. And there's the Lantern pulling Glorified into that dragon.
This is the gank's coming out. Andre Chan gonna get in there for some defense in the bottom lane. Glorified though is the one running around making plays across the map. 3 out of 3. He's been involved in all of their kills, and they're all assists. So notice he's feeding the kills to the laners exactly like you want to see a jungler do. He's a little bit upset that he did get his blue buff stolen away a little bit earlier by Captain Ziploc, so he's kind of making the rest of the team pay.
Yeah, and he's making them pay really hard by getting his top lane a 2-0 lead. Top lane got the first blood as well. You notice how he picked up a Sunfire's cape as his first item, so he is going to be completely denying all the damage iDream wants to try to put out on him. So really good job from that, from Glorified to get him a second kill and make him even a farther lead, as well as securing a dragon for his team and a kill for mid lane.
All right, when you look at the way things are going, you see 3 kills, and 3-0 is a pretty decent score. The dragon compounding that gold advantage, and things are starting to go the way of TDTV. But don't forget that the lineup still has yet to go through any sort of team fights, so definitely something to keep in mind as we progress through the later phases of this laning phase.
Yep, and there is still a whole lot of potential for a lot of really good plays from Wazabi, as they do have the Janna Monsoon to counteract a lot of this stuff. But we do have iDream actually getting flanked from behind right now, as Glorified might try to come in for a dive. There's the dominance being pops right there. There's a death mark going down onto iDream as well. Slice and dice coming out. They're going to try to knock him out, but they cannot do it. iDream is just trying to juke away as much as possible, but Zamfire is there to counteract that gank. Gets the giant growth onto iDream. Enki is coming in from behind. Glorified is there. Gets the shield to counteract that ignite, but Sugoi Geek Desu is going to go on to Zamfire, but can't pick it up. Oh, yes, he does. Slice and dice comes out, chases him down. The Sunfire cape with the red buff will help pick up Zamfire. iDream is still alive underneath that turret. They're going to try to pick him up. Pecky is going to tank that turret, gets the shield as well, waiting for Geek Desu to finish that one off. Red buff is going to take him down. They go 2 for none, and possibly can take this top tower. It is at about half HP.
Yeah, top tower down very, very low. Definitely going to be in danger when this next minion wave comes. He'll be up there. Nobody anywhere near that lane, as iDream and Zamfira are both now dead. So it's going to be a turret, the first turret of the game.
Oh, never mind. Cancels the slingshot. Excuse me.
That could have been a little bit dangerous. You notice Junkie and Anjo stand very far back in their lane, just pushing it up very slowly, as is Captain Ziploc going to go around the long way. About silver ward.
Cannot pick up the kill with the bullet time, unfortunately, and they do force the flash away from Janna, so burn a cooldown, and they will go back with all the money that they have in their pockets. It looks like 1,600 for Misfortune, so she can pick up her Bloodthirster right now and be at a pretty good point with a 12.5 minute-ish kind of Bloodthirster.
Yeah, getting that down early on is a very, very key thing to do, because what it really allows you to do, Bloodthirster, it's a laning item. If you get it early enough in the laning phase, you just dominate if your opponents don't have it. Because the longer you have it and they don't, the more and more you stack it up, and it just compounds on itself, gives you a ton of damage stats. So a really, really key item, especially in that Thresh lane. That's going to be really key for TDTV going into these next few team fights. There is a 4-0 Renekton. That guy is massive. When you have the big tank at the front and the damage coming in from the back and that Bloodthirster on Jungie, this team comp is really starting to come together for TDTV.
Yeah, and it's going to be a really big factor in that late game point when they do have all the synergy, but there is a lot of good disengage coming out from Wazabi, as I keep pointing out, so we'll see how they end up doing that one towards that late game stage. And yeah, Lantern coming out as well, nothing else going down here just yet. A Ziploc does notice that ward gets taken down by that pink ward placed by Prophet. So we could see Ziploc go in. There's a nothing here right now. Enterchan gonna try to come in, gets knocked in by the slingshot. There's the collateral damage as well. The exhaust going down into nothing here. Let's bounce, chasing down everybody that he can. A nice monsoon's gonna knock Enterchan back into everybody. Nothing here is gonna try to get it, and he does pick it up with the buckshot. Nice play coming out from Enterchan, but it's just not enough to stop Grace's buckshot. So they pick up the kill one for O, and a pause is gonna come out here as I have that mouse bug again, so I cannot tab out, unfortunately.
That is somewhat unfortunate. We're just going to wait here for just a second, try to get things taken care of. As is, right now, Janna having some issues, so Prophet needs to back out, as there's a Jungie there who's not going to be her friend for very long. But it's 1-5. First kill now picked up for our heroes. It's going to go over onto Graves. Nothing here. He's definitely capable of kind of being that XX faction, as we just saw in the last series from, almost said, the Salad Bar, but it's actually now Aware Gaming. Is a Graves, and he's incredibly good at carrying things out. 1-0-0, best score on the team, so you can't argue with him getting some kills. Looks like everybody's back and ready to go. We're going to take a few seconds to make sure of that, and then get everything back underway. Like I mentioned, we haven't really seen a team fight so far. We've seen kills go the way of, well, basically Renekton. He got 4 of those, 4 out of 5 for his team, and his turret, his lane being 1. He is going to be a menace. The only thing that's that Wazabi have to do right now is just keep him from getting out of control. We mentioned Lulu, pretty strong counter to Renekton, to see if that actually happens as we move into probably the next team fight happening around Dragon.
Yeah, and that's going to be the next big focal point. As you just said, the Dragon is going to be up fairly soon, and we could see the next fight going down there, and we could see TDTV's team come to fruition, or we could see Wazabi Gaming go down there, try to take it away, or completely turn the fight around. We'll see what happens with that. Well, we do have the tier 1 turret dead and up in the top lane, as Desu is in the Geek Desu, excuse me, is in a completely dominating fashion against iDream on that Zed, but there is always hope. So fix that, there we go. And yeah, so we'll see what they end up doing with that one. And we'll check around that as Fire was going by, but decided not to.
Yeah, really a lot of repositioning. It looks like, iDream kind of getting out of the hot seat there. He's going to throw down some damage and walk back to his turret. He's going to be kind of, saying to his team, hey, 1v2s are cool and everything, but he could definitely use some help.
Yep, and the mic volume is good. I don't know, as we do have Keep Desu going and drops that iDream is going to get knocked up. There's a slingshot going down from Ziploc, but a good Deathmark denying a lot of that damage coming out. Glorified is going to try to run away, but the Deathmark does pop, but he might try to get away. Zamfire is over the wall right there. Keep Desu is coming through as well. There's a Glitter Lance coming out. Zamfire is going to choose to back up. Oh, Desu's going to slice his through the wall onto top of Zamfire. Jarvan's going to come out and nice help picks, as well as a shockwave gets flashed down by Zamfire. There is the passive being popped for Zach, and he is going to try to survive this one as everybody's doing as much damage as possible, but the Golden Blade will take that one for Geek Desu, and they will end up taking him down, but did not take on iDream, so nice play by him to survive through that one.
Man, this Renekton does not stop. He is stacking on so much armor, just getting as tanky as you could possibly get. And then, I don't know, we're going to see these next few team fights. That was kind of a mini team fight. This is a little bit of a precursor. The trailer to the movie is coming up here in just a second. And with that Renekton in the front, if somehow, some way, we can maybe see the Blade of the Ruined King, I don't know. But nothing here going for Bloodthirster. It's a really rough time dealing with Geek on that.
Yep, and we do have Bloodthirster finished for MF, and we have nothing here trying to build his Bloodthirster of his own. He does have that BS sword and Vampire accepted, and we'll see if he ends up finishing that one or go for an IE for the late game. We'll see what he does. as iDream is most likely farming up for his Blade of the Ruined King, as he does have a lot of sword in his inventory. We'll try to finish that one off sometime soon, as he only has 200 gold to his name, so it's going to be a little bit of a while until he gets that one.
Yeah, definitely very stalled out items. The Blade of the Ruined King going to be, well, at least the item progression choice there for Zed. I don't actually argue with that because he's actually doing pretty well. Has 123 CS, and in a lane matchup against a 5-0 Renekton, any CS you get is going to be pretty good for you.
Yep, and it looks like everybody is not aware of the dragon being taken right now. They might actually try to go into Pecky, as there is the slingshot coming out. Let's bounce as well. Zampire is going to try to chase. They do force the flash from Pecky, but everybody is collapsing from the side of TDTV right now. They might try to run this one. Ghost was popped by Desu. I guess he was going to try to make a fight out of that. Could not get there in time, unfortunately. But TDTV secures their dragon, and probably going to try to secure this mid turret.
Yeah, they are 5,000 gold ahead, and it really shows in those items, especially on Renekton. Even about a red potion, Elixir Fortitude, looking to do some work here, as they probably will go for the dive here onto this turret if Wazabi decide to stay.
Yep, and it looks like their distance connecting with Renekton, as Rengar going to get a lot of poke from that distance from Pecky. So everybody just going to try to disengage from this one, as we do have iDream pushing that top lane. So he might get a turret out of this one unless Desu can run up there fast enough. Oh, no, iDream's going to disengage and choose to run away from this one. He does not want to mess with that alligator.
Yeah, I don't think anybody on either team really wants to mess with him. They're just giving him kills, anything he could possibly want. iDream kind of stopped from backing there.
Yeah, Captain Zip like just barely missing the slingshot. Dex up just as you just said, iDream does not want to mess with that Renekton right now. Too strong with that Sunfire cape. And he has a red bot too in his inventory, so he might try to turn a fight. He'll just be stronger.
Yeah, this is, oh my goodness, this is one of the closest games. I'm just kidding. This is starting off a little bit the way we saw Aware Gaming go. They dropped down pretty low in their last series, and to be honest, I kind of thought things were over early on. But a nice job to turn it around. Their poke just got a little bit out of control, and Team Summon couldn't deal with it. We're going to have to see kind of the same thing happen this time around. It's going to be Wazabi Gaming. They do have that AP mid Lulu. It's something we haven't seen a whole lot of. They're going for very high magic penetration. Able to duel pretty well, even though he's a little bit behind in lane.
They just got that. Oh my, what a beautiful tornado from Prophet, just completely denying that distance pull in. So he just completely saved nothing here or there, especially with the shield too. So nice little exchanges going down back and forth between the bot lanes here. And iDream actually getting harassed really low. That turret, he's at about half HP right now. He'll try to sustain up with the lifesteal that he does have. And yeah, just gonna be everybody having a great time. Just a lot of pressure on that top lane. The tier 2 turret is so Desi's gonna try to poke that one away as iDream going back to base. And Desi probably has a fairly good amount of change he wants to spend, as he does have 1,400. He's going to finish that Randuin's Omen.
Yeah, Randuin's now completed, and really, you saw an immediate reaction from Renekton. He's just like, hey, I'm very far ahead. Am I going to build damage? No. Just builds nothing but armor and HP. Like, literally, that's the only stats that he's purchased since picking up all those kills in lane, because he knows that, at least in the current meta, if you can out-tank the damage, nobody's going to be able to kill you. And the biggest thing is, he's going to be able to take up these turrets. So once turrets stop existing, that's kind of the quest of the entire game. It's like, if you could make turrets stop dealing damage to you, you kind of just kill them, kill everything around them, and nobody really cares, because there's nothing to stop you from fighting.
Yeah, not at all, especially with his build, so we'll see if he can make the cert dice happen, as you just said. And bot lane, well, Desu is down there, so they're going to pressure this tier 1 bot lane turret, as there are only the tier 1 mid as well left, so we could see a rotation towards that one to take that one down next in the line.
Alright, so Jungi and Andrew Chen gonna back off here, and I gotta say, when you're looking at 4 turrets, 2 down for Wazabi Gaming, no one really getting pressured. I mean, the top turret's kind of low because Zed was going for that split push. I actually noticed that Glorified has actually stopped himself from going back just so we can defend this turret.
Yeah, we do actually have Pecky coming up top right now, so we could see potentially iDream getting 2-1 right now. He is going to back off, really sure he's disengaged, and see Oriana throw that ball into lane, and be happy that he made that choice to back off.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough to deal with, just because, I mean, Wazabi, they're trying to get turrets, they're trying to get back in the game, but such a perfect defense. TDTV are not going to let this go down without a fight.
No, not at all. They're based around team fighting right now. If they end up trying to push the advantage that they have early, they could see a lot of great things happening for them. But Wazabi Gaming does need to stall this one out for a little while so Graves can finish off that last whisper and get to a highly threatening point for the type of damage they can put out.
Yeah, I think the thing highly threatening right now is going to be that Renekton with that, I gotta say, all that armor. Let's see what he's actually sitting on right now. He has 201 armor, as well as the active from Randuin's Omen and an Elixir of Fortitude, just in case. So when we go for these dives, when we start seeing this come out from TDTV, there's not going to be a lot to stop him out. I mean, we talked about Zamfira, his AP mid Lulu. It's going to be doing a lot of work and able to counter out the Renekton to some point, but I don't think there's really anything that's going to be able to do much against the 5-0 Renekton.
Yeah, that's just incredibly strong. I can see him just diving through all 5 of them and living perfectly fine. Just pops that dominance, gets the extra HP as well as the damage. And yeah, that turret is at about a third of its life, so we'll see if they can pressure this just a little bit harder. But we do have iDream and Pecky going toe-to-toe up top. Pecky gonna throw that ball in the bush. We spot him, nothing too much coming out from there. But we do have everybody else in the mid lane, and then Misfortune and Graves duking it out in that bot lane, just farming it up back and forth. A lot of shoving coming out from nothing here. Does eat a double up, takes quite a little bit of damage, but gonna be fine with that.
Alright, we're looking for this mid lane. You can see a pretty decent pressure here from TDTV. They want to take this turret, but overall, not a whole lot being accomplished. This is really giving Wazabi Gaming the time that they need to get the items that they have to have. You see pink ward placed around by Dragon. Wazabi definitely wanting to take that, but they just can't establish the ward control that they need around that area, though they do have a ward just barely out of vision range.
Yep, and we do have all the pings going on. Everybody is pinging frantically right now. It looks like they might try to make the next play on this dragon that is going to be spawning right now, and they are doing it straight forward on the side of Tower.tv, so Wazabi Gaming might try to act on this as Zach is sitting up here in this tri-bush. Might try to leap over as the ward did come out. He is charging that slingshot. They jumped another ward over. You see the man with it. They get with the collateral damage. Graves is going to pick that one up. There's a descent on the ziplock. They're going to try to pick him up. He pops that left bounce. Is going to dodge away from the knockup, but does get split into that passive and will be taken down. And who are they going to get the kill to? It looks like Jung yell at him after. Keep him nice and fat.
Alright, well, again, 1-0 and 1. I don't know if that's fed. He definitely has the itemization that he needs. 5-0 and 1 now. Nothing really standing in the way of TDTV.
Yep, and iDream did just split push up top, take that first tier 1 turret. Gonna try to pressure the tier 2, while all of Tower.tv is gonna go for the mid lane first turret. While Jayce's bot lane just split pushing on his own, so I guess they were just content with giving up that turret and getting the dragon for themselves and only trading Zac for it.
Yeah, 1 for Dragon is definitely a really good trade to make. You'll notice the split push started to come out here from the guys on Wazabi. Taking down 1 turret, 2 turrets, 3 turrets right off the bat.
Desi popped the ghost. He's going to try to find him in the bush, but could not as iDream left fairly early. But we do actually have Glorified coming up. Oh, right, the lane. So, gonna let iDream get away with that 2 turret split push as they're pinging on Graves.
Nothing here. Flashing away, dashing away. That guy is just like, peace late. He is out of there. Nothing here. Gonna go back down to his double golems. Keep the farm game going. And I gotta say, liking his Graves play. All of a sudden, a dragon, 3 turrets, the global gold collapsing, and only a 2,000 gold difference here for Wazabi.
Yep, and now we're gonna have Rengar going for way to nothing here. Ziplock is gonna clear that mid lane and trying to get from as much as possible. As we do have a level 12 Jarvan going up against level 12 Ziplock. He caught up in farm fairly well. I haven't really seen much of Zamfire yet, but he picked up a Morella Nomicon, so he's gonna have that passive in reducing healing coming out. So he's fairly effective against the Bloodthirster of Misfortune, as well as giving him some CDR, a hefty amount of AP, and some mana regen.
This is getting pretty ridiculous. I expected to see, when you have a 5-0-1 Renekton, you're just like, hey, people are going to get stomped. But actually a really good job by Wazabi to kind of slow the game down and take some objectives of their own. Where's Zed? He's down in the bottom lane, split pushing everybody grouped up here for Wazabi, trying to hold off this push from TDTV.
Yep, Geekdesu is forced to respond to that one too, so it's before up in that top lane while Geekdesu does hold onto that bot turret. And now we're seeing Blue Buff actually might try to get stolen away by Glorified, but there is the smite coming out from Ziplock. He did not get it. It looks like Pecky got it actually. So good job from Tower.tv to steal that one away, and now we're going to have a little chase coming down from Wasabi. The slingshot is charged up. Anjo is forced to flash away from this one. There's the less bounce. It gets played away in the boxing response. There's the shockwave as well. Cataclysm on top of that. iDream is coming in from behind. Gonna try to pick up Andrew Chan, but a Really good bullet time coming up from Jungi right there, hitting 3 members of that team. iDream is going to try to turn this one around as Fire and Ziploc and everybody else from Wasabi is turning around on this one. Peki is going to survive with the shielding barrier coming out from Jungi, but he's fairly low. There's a buckshot going to pick up the kill. Nothing here going to pick him up, and they're going to go 3 for none right there, and that is really good for Wasabi Gaming to turn that fight around and make TowerDive run on their heels. But Gidesu is actually hiding away up there. Oh, he's doing the race right now, so they could spot him out and be pretty scared. They might go for Baron on the side of Wasabi. But it is
okay, Baron's a little bit of a rough choice. Literally, Renekton can walk in here and kill them all. So, as it may not be necessarily the greatest choice with Baron's getting in there, but so is Gigon Mad. Going in there, pops the dominance, going in.
Nostradamus, slice and dice as well, gets Monsooned away. They're taking the Baron, a lot of damage coming out. Zamfire was ignited, and he will be forced to go back. And there is Peki coming out as well. There's a distance, the command attack, command protect going to go on to Desu. He's going to try to run in there, but naturally not going to run in there. Just thought he was going to. Peki is chasing still, trying to force iDream away, but he does stop the back, and iDream is still going to have to run away from this one. As Andrew's going to try to cut him off. There's the Destin. It's going to interrupt the shadow. Oh no, gets it anyway, as it did get the cast off. Going to get a little bit of creep damage from that one. Going to farm up as well, throwing that shuriken away. And now we can see Glorify heading towards that Dragon for themselves inside of Tower.tv.
Wazabi are going to have to get back so fast, and it's because after going back, it doesn't even matter if Anjo doesn't even clear the wards out. They're not going to be able to respond in time. Prophet's low, he can't get in there. Zamfira can go in for, maybe some mild annoyance, but a nice Baron attempt delayed enough by Gigon Mad means that the Baron buff goes to TDTV.
Yep, and they're going to be pretty content with that as they do have about a 4k gold lead. They're looking fairly strong with this one. The last Whisper BT finished for Misfortune, as well as a Death Cap and an Athene's and Holy Grail for that Oriana. And Renekton, we can't harp on enough. He's so tanky. Get the Ranuins and Sunfire Cape, as well as 1,600, almost 1,700 gold in his inventory for himself. So we'll see what he picks up. Let's go back to base, as they are now defending the mid-turn for Tower.tv.
Alright, well, we're looking forward to some pretty strong pushing coming out from TDTV, and to be honest, we should have seen this all game long. It just really hasn't happened, and that's less something to critique about them and more just something to say about the way Wazabi are holding on to this game. You just saw them lose a Baron, and they're still pushing, they're still making plays, they're still only about 3,000 gold down, about 4,000 gold right now, so Jungi's going to pick up a red buff, run back in mid lane. This is not where Wazabi should be.
Yeah, comes in like going behind the turret. There's all the shields, there's a lock in the box as well. Nothing here, getting caught underneath the turret, does a quick draw through the Cataclysm, bullet time coming out, not doing too much with that one, double up, but there is Gidesu coming from the side, going in the middle of 3 members, that passive coming out from the ultimate is taking for so much, Misfortune is going to pick up the kill onto nothing here, and they will keep chasing down with this one, as they do have Baron, and they are gonna be really strong as they are chasing down Glorify. No mana just yet, but gonna not be able to do any combos, but they're gonna take 1 for none, and push this tier 2 mid-turn, as iDream is actually gonna go split off.
iDream's going for the split push. They know that, at least for TDTV, they want that inhibitor, but they aren't probably going to be able to get it. 4 members strong for Wazabi are going to be running right at them, and this is going to be the opportunity. This is the game-changing moment. If Wazabi can defend this, can keep their inhibitor alive, then Zed's going to be able to take 2 turrets. If they can't, then probably not worth it. The inhibitor just going down without a fight. Yep,
and it looks like Tower.tv is going to get that first inhibitor of the game, going to go down that mid lane, be content with that, as well as iDream's going to get that top 2 bot 2 tier, excuse me, and going to keep pressuring this, as his team is going to hold Tower.tv from going back and trying to do that, but there are backs coming out from Glorified and Geekdesa, so nothing going to stop them, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to hold off iDream.
Yeah, I don't actually think he's going to be able to get too much split pushing down. I mean, damage is damage, but still a little bit of a dubious choice. You have to stop that inhibitor from going down, because once that's taken out, I mean, all of your enemy minions will get 100 extra HP, continue pushing in. And even though when you look at Wazabi, all of their lanes are super far pushed out, they're going to be able to take a dragon, and hey, objectives are objectives.
Yeah, they're going to be happy with that one. 100 gold for everybody on the team. As well, iDream is going to go down to that bot lane once again, but he might be met by 3 members at Tower.tv when they see him go into that lane.
Oh my goodness, his positioning is somewhat of a dubious choice. iDream in the danger zone.
Yep, and he does not have the shadow, he just used it, so exhaust coming out from Angelo Chen. Glorified is there, there's a death sentence as well, the knockup, there's everything. The death mark going down, he's going to use that Blade of the Rune King to try to survive just a little bit, but Peki is going to take that one with the command protect, and iDream in a little bit of an unfortunate position.
But keep in mind, that's 1 player traded for a dragon and a turret, so Wazabi's still coming out of this with favorable trades. Now all they have to do is push out that top lane, and with 4 members walking, or 3 members rather, walking that way, it's not going to be the most difficult of tasks.
Yeah, and Jayce actually gonna possibly run into 4. No, it looks like he knows something of just spawned. Might be trying to play out the king. I don't think they're gonna try to do it, but it did already fall. Fire picking up that one for himself. Jayce might try to initiate this one. Slice Dice going down. Gonna drop that, make it rain, and now there is this. Oh man, that slingshot almost getting interrupted by the Blessing Standard Dragonlance combo. So now we're gonna see a top lane push coming out from Tower Dive TV.
Alright, yeah, we gotta make sure to jump to live and get this push underway. Janna's shield goes out, but it drops in a matter of seconds. The top lane turn not even being defended. Wazabi are gonna have to stop their inhibitor from going down.
And that's like a sneak connect. Ziploc is playing back in, the box is popped as well. Mobsu disengaging beautifully, but it looks like Jayce is just really strong, gonna go in. Exhaust goes onto him as well. Nothing here trying to take him down, but Ziploc's passive is popped as well. Jayce gonna take everything that he can and live through that just perfectly, and there goes Ziploc dying as the passive was not in time to reform him. And that is the second inhibitor of the game going for Tower Dive TV, and Ziploc only one dying there, but Team Tower Dive is playing this one phenomenal.
This is starting to look a little bit rough. I mean, 1 inhibitor is bad, 2 inhibitors are worse, and well, really only have that last one to look for. But as is TDTV playing it safe, they're gonna go ahead, back out, go back to base, and just go ahead and buy up their items, get as strong as they possibly can. As this last push is really all they're gonna need.
Yep, and iDream is still not giving up on that split pushing mentality. He is going down to that bot lane, shoving the waves as hard as he possibly can. But now his team has to deal with the super minions in both top and mid lane, so it's gonna be pretty rough. As the only inhibitor left, as you said before, is that bot lane that needs to be pressured now from the side of Tower Dive TV.
Yeah, TDTV walking down the bottom lane. They're just like, hey, we should push a no, only bottom with that inhibitor up is literally all they have to do. But I mean, you get a feel for nothing here. He is 4-1-0, literally has every single kill on the team. If you have to pick somewhere to put the kills, I mean, yeah. AD carry is not a bad place to put him.
Not at all, and he could be the deciding factor, and then if they win a team fight or not, he is going to go back to base. He's got 800 gold in his bank. I don't think he can pick up too much with that, but we're going to head back to this bot lane as all 5 members of Tower Dive TV are getting down there and just face tanking this turret. They're so tanky right now.
It's actually pretty impressive to just see them walk underneath the turret. They're like, oh, what's that? Minions show up. We don't actually care because, like I mentioned, you don't take damage from turrets anymore.
No, not at all, even though they reduce the increase in damage as the more they hit you. So, yeah, just not caring at all with the HP and armor they have. Ziploc gonna go in and actually gets a knockup on Glorify with Jayce, and the Death Sentence going in onto Zampfire. Gonna eat a lot of damage. There's a Giant Growth as well. The Command Protect going on Jayce, not eating a lot of damage from that collateral damage. But iDream gonna go on to Penske, and iDream gets completely shredded by that Shockwave, and it looks like Misfortune does pick up the kill on him. iDream did trade for Becky though, as Jayce is in the middle of 3. Matsu gonna disengage from that one. Zampfire is still alive. Nothing here, gonna do as much damage as possible. Glorify is gonna try to come in with this one. Jungi having that GA still up. Gonna try to keep pushing in on this one. Ziploc did have to go back as he did get away from the fight with just a little bit of HP in that brush. And there is Jayce and Glorified sitting fairly low on Janna, about half HP. There is the standard coming out, giving a little bit of extra attack speed and armor. But Zampfire are going to do a lot of damage. Nothing here is going to pick up the kill on Andrew Chan, and they do end up holding this as the 3 members of Tower Dive TV are still sitting bottom and wanting to pressure this turret and inhibitor.
And this is a sorely needed opportunity. Wazabi's gonna have to keep their actual base from dying. Have to back off of that bottom lane. Geek Gun Man's a little bit low, so he's gonna have to back on out of there. Successful turret defense of the bottom turret, but one Nexus turret does fall.
Yep, and Baron is now up though, so this will be the next point of contestation, or Tower Dive TV can get it for free as they still have that top inhibitor down. And the team of Wasabi are holding this one phenomenally, as they did not lose that bot turret or inhibitor, so a really good hold by them. That was the best they could have hoped for.
Yeah, really, I mean, you gotta count your blessings, and especially having so many kills on the AD carries is really what you're gonna need. I mean, when you look at the way that the early game went, having such a fed AD carry is not really something you ever thought would, or you ever thought you could expect. Actually, you're starting to see some pretty decent farm. 350 CS on Graves, 308 onto iDream. Oh, wow. So they're starting to get their items and really kind of carrying things out there with just massive CS numbers.
Yeah, and now all the wards are being placed. There's an Oracle's Untitled Chapter, clear out all the wards that he can by that Baron Pit, get onto that all the vision, and possibly force the fight at this Baron Pit, because the Super Minions are still pushing away at top, so could potentially be game-changing if Wasabi can deny them this Baron or pick it up for themselves if the fight is going to be fought.
Yeah, grouping up that middle lane. I almost feel like they should be pushing down bottom, but hey, there's a free inhibitor, and you can't argue with pushing with minions that are so strong. Pekingese is going to take away his blue buff, join the rest of his team, but Baron's available, and you can't fault TDTV for just saying, you know what, there's a place where he can get stronger. That place is Baron, so let's go ahead and head it up.
They're going to try to bait inside the Baron, but there is that ward over the wall still, so they will be spotted for going in there, and I think they're using that ward to their advantage and showing that they are in the Baron pit, but they're going to try to initiate off of this one. Ziploc may be forced to use a slingshot to go in. Yeah, there it is. He's going to go into all 5 of them who are just waiting there, but Ziploc gets in a nice giant growth as well. Pekingese is going to get taken out by Ziploc. Baron doing a lot of damage to Jungie. He's got that GA pop as well. He's going to respawn inside the Baron pit, going to eat a little bit of damage from Baron, and there they go picking up iDream, but more Baron takes down Misfortune, and that one Desu is going to get taken down, and they just went 3 for 1 in the favor of Wazabi. Ziploc going to try to jump over that wall, but not going to go in. Actually, just going to go on the Baron. And now Wasabi is going to secure this Baron for themselves and scare away Anjo and Glory. Unless Glory wants to try to steal this Baron away for himself, for his team.
The new but magnet has been charged up. It's pulling everybody in. It looks like Glorify is going to get turned into an adorable little bunny, pushed away for now. And that Baron will go the way of Wazabi Gaming.
Yep, and they pick it up, and that's just what they needed. That was perfect, as you said. Baron Nashor is the new magnet, as Baron did pick up the kill on Jungie after respawn from the GA. It was a really smart
Wazabi
play.
are going to lose 2 inhibitors for this.
Uh-oh.
They have to get back to base. Their top inhibitor will fall. Bottom inhibitor is under fire, but looks like they may be able to save it.
Yep, and all those range minions are not going to be able to do enough damage. That inhibitor is just set the root in threat of losing them, or in a bad position of losing them, but they defended perfectly. Fire up there, clearing up the last of the wave. The only inhibitor to fall was that top one, so we'll see what Baron and Wasabi can do to hold off the rest of these pushes from T-Tower Dive.
Yeah, and as is, there's going to be so many super minions pushing in right now. It's going to be a kind of daunting task to clear them out, especially when we are going to have a full 5-member team coming in here for TDTV. They are going to have the Baron buff, and so they are going to be somewhat vulnerable, but I don't know, man. This is going to be a rough push to hold.
Yeah, with how strong Tower Dive TV is right now, it's just going to be so ruthless of them to just go in. But Baron up Wasabi, they have that Graves. He's got an Infinity's Edge now as well on top of his last Phantom and Bloodthirster, so he's dishing out a ton of damage, ignoring a lot of armor on the team of Tower Dive. So we'll see if Wasabi can hold, as they just got that Baron, so they're looking really strong. They just need to hold off for a little bit longer.
Armor penetration pretty strong. You got that on both Zed and on Graves.
Yeah,
So yeah, even though Renekton stacked up a bunch of that, he's sitting at 256. It's still not going to make all that big a difference. Aegis of the Legion, Runic Bulwark, they're cool items, but they're not on TDTV, and that is actually going to make a pretty big difference.
Yeah, we'll see if Tower Dive TV is going to push as it is with the Super Minions, and can they hold the 2 open inhibitors for Wasabi? This is going to be really rough, and this next fight most likely will decide unless it goes even. Somehow, we'll see. iDream has that GA now, so he is going to be able to survive and come back to life after he uses that death mark and gets in and dishes out as much damage as possible onto the team of Tower Dive. Oh man, this is one of the closest games we've seen so far.
You know what, Dan? I'm actually kind of scared for TDTV.
Yeah.
Wasabi have been holding on so well. They've lost inhibitor after inhibitor, but TDTV just can't push into them. They're dealing way too much damage. They're playing this perfectly, and Wasabi are not going down without a fight. You're wondering why these guys are the fan favorites. Well, they don't go down without giving back just as much.
Hell, if this was solo queue, I'm pretty sure one team would have surrendered already. But no, these teams know how to persist through this stuff. They know how to play the late game. And Graves, one of the better late game champions, Misfortune, not known for the best of her auto attacking ability. As you can see, she went for the Bloodthirster Last Whisper and then a Zeal towards the later stage of the game. She picked up a GA early to benefit from the bullet time with the AoE synergy that her team has, but just couldn't get in with the team. Wasabi has been splitting perfectly. You saw in that Baron fight, they caught out Pekingese, and there's the pause as we saw Zach did DC. So he hopefully will be coming into this one real quick to get back underway.
This is absolutely incredible. I just can't keep watching this game because I'm so torn. When you look at TDTV, they've had advantages all game long. They just haven't been able to do anything. Renekton just picked up a Thornmail, so 100 more armor on him. He's going to be sitting pretty at 316 armor. I don't know, man. This is going to get a little bit ridiculous. I mean, when you look at 50%, or even when you look at Graves, this guy has 40%. Looking at iDream, he has a little bit more. He does have that black cleaver on. so much of that armor is going to be shredded away. I mean, almost half of that. So you're losing almost like 150, 160 armor on Renekton when you start getting auto-attacked. I'm not sure you can stand up to the pressure. 6-1 and 2 Graves and stacked out Zed. It's going to be rough to withstand.
Yep, and Thornmail finished on Renekton, so Graves is not going to have a good time attacking into him. Hopefully he's not going to be doing that one and going for Misfortune Oriana instead. But situations are going to be hard for both teams, and the armor shred coming out from that Black Cleaver on Zed is going to be crucial as well in the next few fights, as he does try to get into Pekinski and Jungi. And man, this game is so close. I'm like biting my nails, seeing which team is going to come out ahead in this next team fight. Jarvan going for more of the supportish build. He's got a Lock of the Ancillary as well as a random of his own. And then we have the Shurelya's Reverie for Thresh and the Sightstone and another Kindle Gem, possibly going to be building into another support item for his AD carry. But Shurelya's on Janna as well, and Zamfire having a Bizzle Scepter, Morella Namicon, and a Needlessly Large Rod and a Seeker's Arm Guard. So we'll see possibly a Zonia's Hourglass coming out from him. And yeah, this next fight's going to be so crucial with that top inhibitor dead still and Super Minis flooding the base.
I'm surprised we don't see a Gnash or his Tooth on Zamfir. He actually does a lot of magic damage, and adding that AP onto his auto attacks actually be pretty darn effective. He's just going for massive magic penetration and magic resistance reduction there, as he does pick up his Zhonya's Hourglass. So Zhonya's on Zamfir. I'm going to have some fun with some alliteration, but as is Wazabi, they are into maximum base control mode. This is the last stand. This is, the orcs charging the fortress, and if you can't blow them away, you're just going to get taken out. Last inhibitor, or I guess there's actually one other. So middle and bottom inhibitors are up. Top inhibitor to respawn here in just about a minute. So keep an eye on that. It's 9-12, an incredibly one-sided game early on, but Wazabi bringing it back and not going down without a fight.
Looks like another little pause. There's my mouse getting stuck on the screen once again. Let's see. Maybe Ziploc DC'd once again, or a little bit of lag on his end. I have no idea. I don't know if you have the chat open. Maybe you can inform us just a little bit.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I'll just keep an eye on things and make sure that, or see what they can, see what info they can give us. We're actually going to be ready to start the game up, so we should be unpausing here in just a couple seconds and make sure to jump to live and get this game back underway. 40 minutes in. We saw one 40-minute game in the previous series between it was Team Summon going up against, or actually, was it 42 minutes? Yeah, Team Summon taking on Aware Gaming, 42 minutes. And in this game, it's looking like about the same length of time. TDTV just kind of oscillating outside the base here.
Yep, and looking to pressure onto this bot lane as they have the Super Minion stop. They're going to go straight for the open inhibit in that bot lane. Is the easier one to access as the top lane is further away. Simple little knowledge, the more you know. And now we're going to have Baron going away for the side of Wasabi Gaming as they are forced to hold this now that is gone. And TowerNetTV looking to go in. Oh, the Ziploc charging the slingshot. Might try to go in with this one. No, gonna let that one fizzle away. And now they're gonna be pressuring away with TowerNetTV.
AP Lulu, man, we're going to see how effective that is going to be, because in this fight, you're going to need as much damage as humanly possible. Traditionally, you get a lot of bursts for APs, but Zamfir is playing a little bit more sustained, a little bit more sort of like utility AP. So, questioning if they have enough.
Glorified going in, the Cataclysm hitting two members right there, but there's iDream going out, gonna chase on the Peginxi, gonna pop him, gonna pick up that kill. iDream is still in the back line right now. The box is still popped. Glorified is in the back. There's a tank Desu just going through everybody. Collateral damage gonna force the GA. There is Glorified falling down to Zamfire right there. Giant Growth gonna be on iDream, slowing down Renekton. Gonna let nothing here pick up the kill. Double kill for Zamfire. They hold this space once again. Wasabi Gaming showing the resolve. They even up the gold exactly. And now they're gonna be able to defend this lane as one of their Nexus turrets fell. But that is not a care for them, as they did end up stopping everybody 4 for none right there. That was great play by Zamfire, keeping iDream alive. His GA wasn't even popped. And then Sugoi Jungi was blown up in that fight as iDream went in the back line, completely shredded Pekinski from that fight and forcing him to be out of that and not help his team at all. That was beautifully played by Wasabi. This is a turnaround. Oh, man.
Yeah, Wasabi is hot like fire, turning that team fight around and pushing up the mid lane. Gonna be able to take at least one turret and could be able to turn things around.
Yep, and they're going to be able to take this tier 2 mid turret as they've been in their base the entire time. They're finally happy to get out of there, stroll their little legs around, and pick up a turret as well as some gold for themselves. They have the Baron timer as well. It should be up in about a minute and a half-ish, and now there's a big wave in that bot lane. I think nothing here is going to go clear through the jungle and stop this one as everybody does go back. And yeah, so really good hold by Wazabi, and now we can possibly see a game turned around completely. As Tower.TV, as you said before, was in a dominating fashion in the early stages.
All right, looking for I don't know, the closeout. Where's the exciting conclusion, Dan? I mean, I'm waiting. It's just not happening because Wazabi are monsters. They are defending their base at every single turn. And I say Zed just picked up a Tiamat, so we're going to see a ravenous Hydra on Zed. This just does not stop getting more and more interesting.
We're still pushing, man. Just activate the Tiamat, activate the ravenous Hydra. Going to be able to deal extra damage in the auto attack form, as well as give him a little bit more attack speed. And we'll see what happens with that final build. And now we're seeing Graves. He picked up a Frozen Mallet as his 6th item, so he's going to be able to kite as well as stay alive in a lot longer in most of these fights with the stain he has from that Bloodthirster. And yeah, Warden's Mail on the opposite side for Misfortune, so she doesn't want to get hit by any of that melee damage from iDream or any of the physical damage coming out from nothing here. So a little bit of counteractions coming out for this late game for the AD carries at least. And man, Desu really, I saw Desu go into the middle of everybody in that last fight, just didn't seem like he was doing enough. And now we're seeing Wazabi just push up. They're pushing up this mid lane. They have no fear. Their lanes are pushing out. So we could see them make pressure now.
I believe you just said the words Wazabi is pushing. Like, they lost 3 inhibitors. They lost like a total of 5 to 6 inhibitors this game. And they're outside their base. They're pushing out. Look at the ward coverage currently. iDream, though, getting caught out.
Yep, Captain Ziplock's going to try to sling his shot over this one. There's the Cataclysm coming out, but there is Captain Ziplock going in the back. There is also a nice shockwave coming out, but iDream's GS Sugoi, Andrew-chan coming in, and the ball as well from Oriana, but Captain Ziplock's going to pick up the kill onto Andrew-chan, going to chase everybody away, but iDream picks up a double kill for himself, and that is 3 members dead for the side of Tower.TV. Ziplock's going to go, and the Ignite's going to be dropped on top of Zach. Oh man, that damage coming out from the health picks, and there's a flash from something here. He's going to keep chasing down at the Sugoi jungle. He's got that Frozen Mallet coming out. He's got blue buff. He's going to have quick draw soon. There is the speed up coming from Lulu, and they're going to be able to push in on this base. That most likely is going to be inhibitor. There's 30 seconds left on the respawn, 60 on the last person to die, and now they're going to press with the inhibitors, and is this going to be GG in favor of Wazabi after this intense early game?
I got nerd chills all over my body. Man, Wazabi not giving up. This is it. GG, well played. GG's actually coming out in chat. Wazabi crushing through that team fight, going into the Nexus. They're taking down the Nexus turns. Wazabi after 45 minutes, taking away a game that was all but lost. And with 18 to 12, Wazabi Gaming take the win.
That was one hell of a game. Okay, that was a great hold by Wazabi. They played that perfectly, though. Look at the goal that they had. They farmed up perfectly. They have 429 CS on iDream, who's split pushing like a monster. Nothing here has 418 CS with 19.1k gold, the most in the game. Damn, they couldn't have played that any better.
I'm going to quote Monoman424 from chat that says Zamfira is a literal god. This is some impressive play. I'm going to say Zamfira pretty impressive on mid lane AP. Lulu just way too tanky to take out, but the ultimate, the wild growth coming down there onto Zed kept him alive and dishing out damage, and nothing here. 9, 1, and 7 over the course of that entire game. I don't know what to say. Expert analysis will follow, I assure you, but Wazabi Gaming with one of the most impressive games of the MCS.
Like, don't count out Tower.TV. They played that phenomenally. Just the late game just didn't go in their favor so much. Oh, man.
Absolutely incredible performance. This is the kind of games you can expect from the Mobafire Challenger series. So if you guys liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button down below, because that goes to helping us provide you with